In this video, we're going to be comparing the Apollo Twin and the Lewitt Connect 6 in order to help you decide if you should consider one of these interfaces for your home studio. Starting with the Connect 6, this interface retails for $299, and in the box, you're going to get the interface, an instruction manual to download the included software, a USB-C to USB-C cable, and a USB-C to USB-A cable. First, let's take a look at the design. The Connect 6 definitely has a futuristic look to it, and I think because of the black finish, it's going to blend into a lot of home studio setups. However, when it comes to build quality, it does leave a bit to be desired since it's an all-plastic construction. Nevertheless, it's extremely light, weighing less than 1 pound, which makes it perfect to take with you on the go when traveling. Going over the specs, it has one knob to control both your volume and gain levels, and by clicking on the knob, it will switch functions within the interface. On the left, it has LED indicators for channels 1 and 2, headphones 1 and 2, your studio monitors, a 48-volt switch, and your level meters. On the front, it has two headphone outputs, one being 1/4 inch and the other 1/8 inch. This is great because you're not going to have to look for any adapters, and it's very useful if you have someone else in your studio. On the back, it has one computer connection which does bus power this interface, but if your laptop isn't providing enough power, it does come with a dedicated power connection, an aux input for anything with a 3.5mm jack, a mobile connection, which is something that I haven't seen on any other interface. This will allow you to both export and import audio straight to your phone, and it's going to be a great tool, especially for content creators. A stereo output for different devices, two monitor outputs, and two XLR and line level inputs. And even though this is a very versatile interface on its own, in order to unlock all of its features, you do need to download the Control Center software from Lewitt's official website, and this is what it looks like. On the left, you have inputs 1 and 2, each having their own independent gain meter, which can provide up to 72 decibels of gain, being more than enough to handle any microphone, including gain-hungry mics like the Shure SM7B. It also gives you a 48-volt switch to power on condenser microphones, a high-pass filter which will roll off the low end of your recordings, a polarity switch in case you're having any phasing issues, a mute button, and on the bottom, the software also gives you different plugins to choose from, an expander which is also known as a gate, a compressor, EQ, and a maximizer. But the coolest thing about this entire software is the auto setup feature. This is going to be a great tool, especially for beginners, because all you have to do is plug your microphone, click on auto setup, and then the software is going to set all of the levels and effects for you. This way, you don't have to worry about the technical sides of recording and can just focus on creating. Of course, you can always go back and make changes to any of the plugins, but once you're happy with the sound, you can go on the top and save them as a preset. So even if you're a more experienced professional, this is definitely going to help you speed up your workflow and possibly even eliminate post-production. This software also lets you create custom headphone mixes, which can be very helpful if you're working with another talent. In addition, Control Center also has an audio loopback feature, which will allow you to capture the sound both from your microphone and your computer's internal audio. This can be very useful if you're planning to do any sort of screen share for online conference calls or even live streams. Moving on to the Apollo Twin, this interface is sold in two different models, the dual core for $999 and the quad core for $1499. The number of course has to do with how many plugins you can run on the interface, but I'll talk more about that later in the video. In the box, you're going to get the interface, a power supply, and an instruction manual to download the console app. But something you should know is that the Apollo can only be connected with a Thunderbolt cable, and unfortunately, it is not included with this interface, so that will be an additional cost. When looking over the design, I'm a huge fan of the space gray finish because it goes along with my MacBook Pro. Also, it does have a metal construction which feels very sturdy, and after owning this interface for over 5 years, I gotta say it's definitely built to last. Going over the specs, on the front it has one headphone output and one direct input for your guitar and bass. On the top, it has one knob to control both your volume and gain levels. On the left side, it has LED indicators for channels channels 1 and 2, which you can switch by clicking on the preamp button, and by clicking it, the interface is going to display different functions at the bottom: a high-pass filter to roll off the low end of your recordings, a 48-volt switch to power on condenser microphones, a pad switch which will allow you to record really loud audio sources, a polarity switch in case you're having phasing issues, and a link button to link both channels 1 and 2 together. On the right side, it has LED indicators for both your headphones and studio monitors, and by clicking on this mode, it's going to switch the functions at the bottom of the interface. Now, it gives you a talkback feature in case you're in one room and the artist you're working with is in another room. They're going to be able to hear you through their headphones. Dim, which is going to decrease the overall output level of your studio monitors. Mono, which will turn your stereo mix into a mono mix, and a mute button. On the back, it has 2 XLR and line level inputs. You can also connect up to 2 pairs of studio monitors or 1 pair and then 2 additional headphones. And it comes included with an optical input, which will allow you to expand the number of channels on this interface. This is great, especially if you plan to record the full band or even mic an entire drum kit. Now, you're probably asking yourself, so why is the Apollo so expensive? In order to answer that question, we need to talk about Universal Audio, which is the company that makes the Apollo Twin. If you're unfamiliar with them, they're known to make the best emulations of vintage and analog gear in the world. They created these plugins that sound near identical to vintage preamps, compressors, EQs, and many other effects, and originally made those sounds available to the public through the Apollo. And just to give you an idea, if you were to go out and buy the original hardware for some of the plugins that come included with the Apollo, like a 610B preamp, an LA2A compressor, a Pultec EQ, or even a Marshall Plexi, that would cost you tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, but now you have access to those sounds for a fraction of the price. However, a big misconception that a lot of people have about the Apollo is that they think that all you're paying for are plugins, and that is not true. In fact, Universal Audio even has their Spark subscription service, which you can sign up for a monthly fee, and it does give you access to some of their plugins, but the key difference here is that the Apollo is DSP powered. This means it can run all of the plugins that I just mentioned in real time with zero latency and without putting any strain in your computer. So even if you sign up just for the Spark subscription, yes, you will get access to some of their plugins, but you're not going to be able to record with them. Most likely, you're going to have to end up recording completely dry and then just adding the plugins in post-production. That is not the case at all with the Apollo, but in order to do that, you do need to download the console app from Universal Audio's official website, and this is what it looks like. On the left side, it has your channel strip where you're going to insert all of your effects. This software also gives you access to auxiliary tracks, which are great to add things like reverb, because I found that when I work with other artists or even just record myself, I do like to hear a little bit of reverb in my headphones. But don't worry, this is not going to get printed into the recording. It's just to get you a better performance out of the artist. And on the far right, it gives you 2 recording modes. UAD record, which means you're going to be able to hear all of these effects in real time with zero latency, and they will be printed into your DAW. This is great if you know that the sound you're listening to will be the final product. If you want to minimize or even eliminate post-production, then go with this mode. However, when it comes to music production, I prefer to record using the UAD monitoring mode. This still lets me hear all of the plugins in real time, but they don't get printed into my DAW. This is great because it gives me the flexibility to make changes after the fact. So for example, if I overcompress or add too much EQ, then I can easily go into Logic Pro and then make adjustments from there. So if you don't want to commit to the sound, go with this mode. But moving on, let's do some audio tests so you can hear both interfaces in action. You're listening to the Lewitt LCT 440 Pure condenser microphone being connected into the Apollo Twin without any post-processing, and this is what the built-in preamps sound like. Now you're listening to the 440 Pure being plugged into the Lewitt Connect 6 without any processing, and this is what it sounds like. This time, you're listening to the Apollo Twin and the UAD plugins turned on, and this is what kind of sound quality you can expect out of this interface. Going back to the Lewitt Connect 6, but this time the DSP powered plugins have been engaged, and this is what they sound like. Moving on to a dynamic microphone, now you're listening to the Shure SM7DB, which is a very popular microphone for podcasting and live streaming. It's currently connected to the Apollo Twin without any post-processing, and this is what it sounds like. This time, you're listening to the Shure SM7DB being plugged into the Lewitt Connect 6, and this is what it sounds like without any processing. Now I'm back at the Apollo Twin, still recording on the SM7DB with the UAD plugins engaged, and this is what they sound like. Going back to the Lewitt Connect 6, this is what the SM7DB sounds like with the DSP-powered plugins turned on. When the days are cold and the cards all fold and the saints we see are all made of gold, your dreams all fail and the ones we heal are the worst of all and the bloods run stale. I wanna hide the truth, I wanna shelter you, but with the beast inside, there's nowhere we can hide. No matter what we breed, we still are made of greed. This is my kingdom come, this is my kingdom come. So what are my overall thoughts and who would I recommend each interface to? Before I share them with you, let me know in the comment section which one did you prefer and why. Also, if you enjoy reviews like this one, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. First, I just want to say that I got great results recording with both interfaces, so it's not like you need to spend more money to achieve professional quality audio. But with that being said, your decision is really going to come down to multiple factors, so let's go down each category to help you decide what's best for your use case. When it comes to price, if budget is a concern, then of course the Connect 6 is the better option, because for that $700 to $1,100 price difference, not only can you get the interface, you're also going to be able to buy a great sounding microphone, a pair of studio monitors, headphones, and even acoustic treatment, which is going to move you much further along building your home studio. But when it comes to build quality, the clear winner is the Apollo Twin due to its metal construction. This thing not only looks sleek, it feels very sturdy, and it's just built to last. I'm also a big fan of this design because it does give you individual buttons for every function on the interface, making your workflow much faster and easier overall. When it comes to connectivity, it's a bit of a toss-up. If you're a content creator here on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, and your primary goal is to get professional quality audio straight to your phone, then of course the Connect 6 is going to be the better option due to the mobile connection. It also doesn't require you to be plugged to a computer, making it extremely portable. However, if you're not a content creator and what you care about most is expandability, then the Apollo is the better choice because of the optical input. This will allow you to expand the number of channels of this interface, which is perfect if you plan to record an entire band or even mic an entire drum kit. The Apollo is also a better choice if you're a guitarist or bass player trying to record straight in the box and then using amp simulations, because it does have a direct input on the front, unlike the Connect 6, which does not have high Z inputs. This just means you're going to get way more detail in the sound, especially in the high frequencies, and you're not going to have to buy an external DI box, an amplifier, and a microphone. When it comes to sound quality, I was able to get great results out of both interfaces. The preamps were extremely clean, and I'm very happy recording both vocals and the acoustic guitar. However, if I could only pick one, of course I'm going to lean more towards the Apollo Twin because it does emulate some of my all-time favorite analog gear. Nevertheless, the Connect 6 also has some great plugins, and I have to say it does come with an expander, which is also known as a gate. So if you're doing things like live streaming or podcasting and you don't have any acoustic treatment, that just may well benefit you more. And in regards to the included software and ease of use, I actually prefer Control Center because of the auto setup feature. I think this is a game changer, especially for for beginners. So if you're somebody that doesn't want to worry about the technical side of things, all you have to do is plug your microphone, click on auto setup, and then just follow the prompts, and you're going to be ready to go in less than 30 seconds. However, if you're somebody with more experience and you would much rather dial in all of your settings and effects, and what you care about most is getting that analog sound, then the console app may be the better option. But overall, I think the Apollo Twin and the Lewitt Connect 6 are both great sounding interfaces with a lot of unique features, so I would 100% recommend them for musicians, content creators, podcasters, and voice actors. If you want to buy one of the interfaces, the links are down in the description below, and if you want to compare them to the Audient ID24 interface, then make sure to click on this video.